We're following breaking news now. Just coming into the CBS News Miami newsroom, a federal jury found singer and rapper Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, guilty on all charges in their luxury fraud scheme trial.
Sean Kingston just broke down in court after a guilty verdict that could land him behind bars for 20 years. But here's the twist. He's reportedly blaming his own mother for the whole thing. Yeah, that's right. The same mom who raised him might be the one who dragged him into $1 million scam. But is she really the mastermind, or is Sean just pointing fingers to save himself? Well, fans think otherwise. And if that's true, the rapper might want to rethink that strategy because fans are digging through the evidence to find out if his story holds up, and honestly, it doesn't seem like it. With fake wire transfers, unpaid luxury items, and even name-dropping Justin Bieber, Sean's walking a thin line. So, who really shares the blame? Let's find out. So Sean Kingston and his mom are in serious trouble after being found guilty of scamming businesses out of over $1 million. The charges? 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 4 counts of wire fraud. And according to reports, the singer had a hard time accepting the verdict. Apparently, he broke down into tears and asked the marshals to look after his mother. Now fans found that interesting since, according to some reports, Sean blames his mother for how things turned down. Yes, he has had his fair share of run-ins with the law. Back in 2020, he got busted for an unpaid jewelry bill, which ended with him serving a 2-year probation sentence. And let's not forget he's been sued by companies such as Ver Entertainment for failing to pay for luxury items, including a 232-inch home entertainment system, and for making false representations in business dealings. According to court documents, he reached out to the company in September 2023, saying that he wanted to purchase the TV along with a sound system. The company apparently agreed to sell Sean the goods for a discount in return for promotion of the brand on his Instagram. And if you're wondering why Ver would concern themselves with a singer who hadn't seen the same commercial success since the early 2000s, well, that's because Sean played them. He acted like he had a current and ongoing working relationship with singer Justin Bieber. FYI, these two worked in the past, and so Sean used that one moment when he was on top of the world to lure in Ver, promising them a promo vid with the man himself. But guess what? All of it was a lie. And in the end, Sean did not make the promo vids, and he didn't pay Ver what they were owed either. Instead, on January 15th, he sent the company a Novo alert that his remaining payments were coming. However, the complaint stated that the singer lied and that no money was ever transferred. In the face of the allegations, Sean's lawyer argued that the contract didn't set a deadline, and so Ver crossed a line by filing a lawsuit.
Well, that's something we're talking about right now. I mean, obviously they kind of jumped the gun by filing the lawsuit because the contract, as I read it, didn't have any specific deadline for him to do that. So there's even a question whether it's a breach or not. You know, Sean's very busy. He's doing a lot of concerts and traveling a lot.
And that's not all. Back in 2022, Kingston was sued for obtaining 2 luxury watches worth over $1.05 million and failing to pay for them. And then in 2021, music video producer Slyke accused Kingston of punching him in the face and threatening him with a PL wow. So, no, Sean's never exactly been a model citizen. Why blame his mom then? Well, if you look at the situation objectively, Sean's mom shares the blame. She never set a good example for her son. Back in 2006, she pleaded guilty to a bank fraud scheme involving over $160,000 and served 18 months in prison. Not to mention, even the judge thought that Sean's mother was running the scheme. She was accused by the judge of being the fixer and nerve center in charge of the scheme, as her past convictions for similar crimes painted her as being in charge of the scheme. Kingston's defense team also explored that narrative, describing him as a child who did not understand finances and would spend the money with no regard. Now, word on the street is that Sean's feeling some type of way about his mother after the jury read their verdict. He believes that his mother got him into this mess. But let's look at the facts of the case. Last year, SWAT teams stormed Kingston's Florida mansion, kicking off the investigation. Sean was busy performing at Fort Irwin, all the way in California's Mojave Desert for the U.S. Army MWR program when the bust went down. However, his mother was home and she was arrested. Sean's lawyer thought that the raids were extreme, and some fans agree with his statement since the feds brought the cavalry.
Gestapo type raid there, bringing all these SWAT team guys in with masks so they wouldn't be identified like it's some sort of a mafia undercover raid. It was really ridiculous.
Thought that type of force was simply uncalled for.
So the video, it was uncalled for. You know, bringing all these SWAT team guys in with masks so they wouldn't be identified like it's some sort of a mafia undercover raid. It was really ridiculous. The amount of manpower they used to take a TV out.
Rosenblatt had more to say about the raid too.
It looked like they thought Osama bin Laden had been resurrected. They had, 50 or 60 officers there, a SWAT team, long guns. They threw a dog allegedly over the fence to get in there. You know, they destroyed a lot of the house during their search. It was, really uncalled for to arrest a 61-year-old grandmother, bring her out in handcuffs.
The crazy part? Sean and his mom had no idea that the feds were going to knock on their front door. For them, it was just another day until the authorities shattered their world.
Were these charges and arrests a surprise to you? Did you know that they were coming?
No, obviously not. If we had known they were coming, we would open the door and said, "Here, come on in, do your search." Janice could be surrendered if they wanted to charge her with something. No, we had no idea it was coming. And of course, they do it on a Thursday, which is the long weekend, so she can't get out of jail. They do these roundups. They like doing that on long weekends, so the defendants don't have access to the court to get out on bond. So it was pre-planned to do it on a Thursday, on a long weekend.
Following the raid, Kingston tried to act strong in front of his fans. He uploaded an IG story saying, "People love negative energy. I am good, and so is my mother. My lawyers are handling everything as we speak." Fast forward to July, and a federal grand jury indicted the two. Prosecutors say the singer and his mother scammed people out of tons of expensive items, like nearly $500,000 worth of jewelry, a $160,000 Cadillac Escalade, and over $86,000 in fancy furniture. They also allegedly took more than $200,000 from Bank of America and over $100,000 from First Republic Bank. According to prosecutors, the duo claimed they made payments through wire transfers and other methods, but never actually paid. Instead, they kept the stuff, and in the end, they had managed to steal about $1 million worth of luxury possessions. In August, both pleaded not guilty. However, the prosecution stepped into court armed with evidence and witnesses. Ariel Mateos, owner of Verver Entertainment LLC, testified, telling the jury in detail about how Sean faked wire transfer receipts. Mateos' lawyer, Dennis Carr, also said that the rapper stuck to a script as part of his alleged scheme. He says that he works with Justin Bieber and that he obviously puts on a big show here. This is a rental house. He doesn't own it. And he lures people using his celebrity into having them release things without him paying for it. And he simply never pays.
Right now at 5:30, rapper and singer Sean Kingston back in court today for day 3 of this federal fraud trial.
And more of Kingston's victims are taking the stand today, describing how they say they lost money in various business dealings with him.
Andre Bush, a car salesman, also took the stand. Apparently, he met Sean at his home in the Southwest Ranches neighborhood to sell him a Cadillac Escalade. Like Verver, Sean gave him a fake wire transfer receipt and refused to return the luxury car. Meanwhile, Moshe Edery, a salesman for Mazal Jeweler, told the jury that Sean gave him a fake wire transfer receipt to avoid paying for a $285,000 watch. The rapper's defense. He said that he referred customers to Mazal Jeweler as compensation. And it doesn't seem like Edery was messing around. In one voice memo played in the courtroom, Sean can be heard telling the jeweler, "I'm going to have you at all my video shoots and red carpets." In another text message, Kingston told Edery he was with him for life. It seemed like Sean was leveraging his celebrity status to scam Edery. But Edery needed money, and so when he applied enough pressure, he got one of Sean's fake wire transfer receipts. Edery took the receipt for the Audemars Piguet perpetual calendar watch to the bank, where they said it did not look authentic. And just like that, Eddie's world came crashing down. According to reports, he was fired, lost his credibility, and was kicked out of the industry. Of course, Sean's defense team argued why he didn't ask his boss's permission before giving the watch, hoping to paint him as responsible for his midlife crisis. But Eddie shut down that narrative, explaining employees had access to the safe and made deals with customers, which was how the company did business. His only mistake was trusting someone like Sean and his mother. But that's not the craziest part. Fans spotted a Bible in Sean's hands while the witnesses took the stand. It's almost like he was trying to rebrand himself. However, don't be fooled. It was not a Sean's operation. His mother was in charge of arranging delivery and logistics. More importantly, her job involved ensuring that goods were delivered and vendors were kept at bay during the critical phases of the scam. In fact, during her testimony, she even admitted to sending fake wires to protect her son from exploitation. FYI, Sean did not testify. Still, from what Janice revealed, the prosecution was able to figure out that she was integral to the mother-son operation. Meanwhile, Judge David S. Leibowitz said it was impossible to believe she wouldn't do anything for her son. The most twisted part? This is not Sean and his mother's first rodeo either. Back in 2015, the two were taken to court after they were accused of failing to pay a customized watch seller. The victim won the case, and the mother-son duo had to dish out $301,000 to the jeweler they had scammed out of 9 items. Now, a lot of people think that there's a pattern here that proves Sean and his mom deserved the guilty verdict. Of course, Sean's lawyer shut down that sentiment.
Also, some of the reports that I've seen include that Sean Kingston had already been on probation at this time for trafficking stolen property. Way in the past, back in 2006, Janice had served more than a year in prison, and then there were multiple lawsuits that they both faced from 2006 onward for fraud. Some people are saying this is a pattern. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm not privy to all the old lawsuits. If you go back to 2006, I mean, these are business people. They're going to have lawsuits against them, for various reasons. I'm not sure how the lawsuits were disposed of, whether they were dismissed or what occurred. I'd be interested to find out. But that's all history, and they have no relevance to this particular case. This case has to rise and fall on the facts of its own, not on something that occurred 16 years ago, or may have occurred 16 years ago.
However, Sean's lawyer is only doing his job, and fans can see the big picture, like how Sean and his mother were both drawn to this life of crime. So maybe Sean shouldn't blame his mother, especially when he's been willingly participating in every scheme she has cooked up over the years. And honestly, he has the motive for going down that path. His career hasn't been doing well for a while, and everyone's well aware that luxury and wealth leave people hungry for more, especially once you've had a taste. However, if Sean really was that desperate, he simply could have hustled for the bag like the rest of the world. At the end of the day, the mother-son duo is both in a lot of trouble. They can keep blaming one another, but the reality is that they're both looking at 20 years in prison, the maximum for federal wire fraud cases. The sentencing hearing is scheduled for July 11th this year. As for whether Sean's mom shares the blame or not, well, that's a complicated situation. It's clear that both of them were equally involved in the scheme. The only question is who floated the idea first. But what do you think? Who's responsible? Does Sean really blame his mother? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and make sure to check out the next video.